Imagine you can create your own custom node by typing a text prompt. Now, any node is a new release custom node for ComfyUI that you can do that create a formula or doing any instructions or even using that to make image processing, image editing in ComfyUI. You can just simply type your text prompt, instruct how the AI model work, and it will create a functions within that any node and it connect to your workflow. Now, as you can see, right here is instructing how the AIs are going to showing the data output of the checkpoint models. This one is going to show formulas to do a math, so it's available to download in ComfyUI Manager right now. So for the installations, we are going to install that in ComfyUI Manager. And next, we are going to set up our large language model. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use local large language model API connecting to the ComfyUI, and it can be integrating two AI models together, working with the same workflow in ComfyUI. And right here, as they showed it, is support using Ollama, and you can connect your local install Ollama, and you have your own large language models in Ollama to run this custom node. So any nodes are available in ComfyUI Manager. Just type any nodes in the search bar. You can see this one and click install. Now it will take a while to install that, and once it's done, it will show you the restart button. You can click restart for your ComfyUI. But before that, we will have to set up our local large language model in this case. So I will be going to go through how to boot up Ollama in the system. It is going to be very easy. And I have also included a link in the description how to install Ollama in details. So we are open up our command prompts windows. So just type Ollama to check if it's running. And next, we are going to pull a list of installed large language model. So just type Ollama list. You are able to see your local large language model that already installed in your machine. And if that is not started, you can type Ollama serve to kickstart your local LLM server. And in this case, I am running the Llama 3. Just want to test that and see if this is working, and looks like it got some response for me, and the response is correct. It is the Llama 3 model, so we can switch back to ComfyUI and play around with this. So here's the any node using local large language model. Right here, I have switched this any node. By default, it should be using the OpenAI connections, which is this one. And there are only few choices that you can choose. Connect to the GPT-3 to GPT-4o, and which it will cost you money to running this API connections to process your ComfyUI workflow diagram. So I am using the local large language model connection method, which is link up with the Ollama. So Ollama, you can check the server URL by going to your web browsers and paste that link, this local host link, and you will see that Ollama is running. So it shows the indication your Ollama backend is running, then you can start playing around with it. Now, I have also installed Codestral in Ollama. This is the latest large language model specified to train on doing coding programming task. This AI model trained by Mistral AI. Mistral is a great company creating good large language model. So for Codestral, as I've talked about this large language model's performance in my other channel, talking about large language models and vector database embedding, knowledge base, etc. Here's the link. You can check it out. So we came back to the workflow diagrams. The any nodes are actually not just some kind of nodes that using large language models to create contents for. You can actually using this custom node, you can type your instruction text prompt here to call the large language model and creating programming functions behind this any node, and it will generate other values for you. So I'm trying to make this diagram a very simple one rather than building all those complex hundreds or 50 custom nodes connecting together and make it so complex. Just three of this. So input, process, and output, very simple. And as you can see, the input is a number. And what I did is tell this AI large language models in the any node to generate a random number using the show, mean the number result in strength format, and based on the input format, numbers as a seed number. So for example, I'm just using these input numbers as the seed numbers, and in the meanwhile, it will generate random numbers based on this seed number and it creating this result for me. And we can run this again and you will see what is going on. So while it's loading, let's switch to the back end and show you guys what happened in this. So first of all, you have to pull Codestral in Ollama. It should be download 12 gigabytes of file in the first time. After downloading, check if the large language models are running properly, and it is good to go. Okay, we are heading to ComfyUI command prompts window. As you can see, there's something going on in our last request. It is writing a code, functions. Actually in here, it's a Python functions to do math. And for the input data 1 and input data 2, that is the input parameters of our any nodes. So from here, we have the any node input 1 and the input 2 right here. So based on this request, we have two input data values and we will process that in this coding. And this coding are actually generated by the large language model that we downloaded the Costra and Costra writer's code. And the progress shows that the large language model comments import the code, and doing all this process right here is kind of like writing a pseudocode to tell you what is going on with the happening right here. And it shows the values at the end is 0.87, and it is the same numbers in our Comfy UI output in here. So it is also able to process other input data in both of this input side and the output side as well. Why is called any? Because it's actually, you can input any kinds of data types. Type is not only able to handle strength, you can do maybe a float number or image data. So for example, you have an image data and you can connect this one as well to any node, and maybe I can connect right here. This is the second input, so maximum they have two input parameters right now at this moment, and of course the output are going to be whatever you want to define in this case, but in a simple way. If I don't have the second input, I just using the image as the data input here, then the output are going to be the image output. So for example, that will be image, let's say image preview, and this will work as well. But you have to well define in this instruction prompt to instruct the large language model to write the functions coding in this any node container. And any nodes are going to send an instructions to your local large language models and tell the AI models what to do. And it will return Python written functions within this node and will do some process and get an output of that. So beware of your instruction. There will be some error if you do not get any clear instructions for the large language model to write and cope in this any node. And here's one more examples from just temporary created. And this is a temporary created custom node that I did for image filtering. So what I did is write a text prompt to instruct the large language models, edit the image darker from the input data, and show the result in output. So what I have is obviously the golden dress lady's AI image, and this is a darker output image. So compare that side by side together. As you can see, of the output image are darker. So that is something that basically you can use for and running with any nodes. And of course, you can add something in here as well. Maybe you want to do some editing, do the math or making the image look more funky. You can do that as well. So this is one of the examples to running image using any node in between image. Here is the coding of what I have done in the previous one. So basically, it generated function in Python language and doing a random math and paste it back to the output here, and the large language models comments writing a code function and take the image tensors as an input data 1 and multiple all pixels by 0.8 and make the image darker so it does understand what I try to do. And it's actually doing that in the pseudocode again in here, showing the functions. Here's the trace log of what it does, and it shows us the prompt and output our result at the end. So this is a pretty cool custom node that you can use and very handy. But beware of your instructions. have to be crystal clear. Instruct the large language models what to write in Python code. Otherwise, you will get an error in here. I hope this inspire you that everyone can create your own little custom node in ComfyUI. Twist your image, make a special function within your workflow, features you can imagine. So I will see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day. See ya.